Okay, and here we are for the game review of the New York Knicks versus the Orlando Magic. The Knicks were at home, and just a little dive in, and then once we get into a little bit of the stats, then I'll go into my opinions. I was actually at the game, so I got to see firsthand a little bit about it. So Terrence Ross went off 31 minutes. He's a bench player, sixth man, potential sixth man of the year. 22 points, 8 of 9 free throws, not bad, and 6 of 11 shooting, but he did have 2 for 6 from 3. Otherwise, a lot of their players in double digits, all their starters were in double digits. Cole Anthony was going off 29 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists. This was his all-star game. He really wanted to come out. Mo Bamba, double digits, Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner as well. Pretty much that was most of the team. Their starters really got the opportunity to fight. 40% from the field, 29% from three. So we do see the weakness when we see them again. We do see their weakness, and it is threes because they took a lot of threes. For the Knicks, it was 4 players in double figures, but really, 5 players in double figures. But really, it was a two-man show for the most part. Julius Randle and Derrick Rose. But even then, Randle started to get hot at typical Randle time, second quarter, third quarter, things along that. 37% from the field, 27% from three, which you can tell meant that they wanted to shoot more threes. 20 assists to the Magic, 22 assists. So nothing too bad. Personal fouls. They fouled more, and they turned the ball over more than we did. Let's look up some team stats. As you could see here, for the Knicks, they got 16 offensive rebounds. So we really did a good job trying to get second chance points. Defensive rebounds, the Magic really took their time and took over on the defensive rebounding end. Nothing too crazy overall. Turnovers were a bit high. Magic did get some more fast break points than us, sure. They fouled a bit more. We scored more points in the paint than they did. Although you can tell as you can tell, most of our shots came from outside of the paint. And our largest lead was 10, where before it was 34 on Friday. So these are the stats, as you can see. Now that I get into the game a bit more in depth from what I saw, Kemba I'm not sure what's going on with Kemba, but he's not really moving as well as it might take a little bit of time for Kemba. I think might be the best way to kind of get adjusted into the rhythm of this team. This team still needs to establish its identity, and this team really needs to establish, because there was an overtime win, nail biter, and then there was a blowout, and then you lose. Which means this New York Knicks team, if you want to look at the positives, has the ability to completely blow a team out. This team has the ability to lose fourth quarter leads. This team has the ability to man up on defense really well, but also sometimes leave the paint and leave the post wide open. They'll miss assignments sometimes, and that's, I think, because it's still relatively new and they were tired after having... You go from a double overtime win to a complete blowout for the most part. You're feeling tired and good at the same time. So it's a mixed message that you're sending to yourself. And I can see how the Knicks misconstrued what their assignment was for the night and the team that they were playing. Maybe they let up on them, although I don't think that they did, because with a coach like Tibbs, you're not. I think more so it's just tiredness, and also Cole Anthony going off, Terrence Ross going off, even though they didn't assist a lot, when they needed to make 3-point shots, they made them. When they needed to get into the lane, the Magic did that. And when Terrence Ross and Cole Anthony got hot, they got hot. And for Terrence Ross, it did not take that long for him to get hot. And for the Knicks, I think there is a sense of hesitation and stop. So when they get the ball, it's almost like they're looking for the person, but they may not necessarily find that person at that point. And it's almost like since there may not be as much creativity, they kind of assume, okay, well, this play is for Julius Randle. We need to pass the ball to Julius Randle. Whatever we have to do, we have to make sure that we get to the assignment, and that is this play, which is to Julius Randle, or anything like that. And then I think sometimes when the Knicks really find an opportunity to try to get back, they wind up settling for shots. Also, one of the things that I noticed is RJ really tries to get on both the offensive end and the defensive end, but you'll notice a lot of his work on his individual man and on the defensive end and movement off the ball overall. It takes him offensively. Last season, I think it took him up until game 20 where he really found his rhythm as a three-point shooter. So I'm assuming and I feel that given the opportunity getting into December, once he gets a bit more of a rhythm, once you feel the fans back, and once you get a few once you get those normal games where you win 99 to 87 or 101 to 96 or whatever, or 107 to 99, once you rattle off a few of those, then I think you get into kind of a decent rhythm. I want to talk about Kemba Walker and missing assignments. So, and overall, the players in this game missing assignments. I think tiredness had a lot to do. Being tired and settling. Because I guess if you look on the calendar, you see this game, you see the way that the Orlando Magic are set up. They started a rookie. Jalen Suggs started this game. If it's Terrence Ross is on the bench. So your starters are players, just players. They can be flashy. They have the opportunity to move. They have the opportunity to groove. But for the most part, the Orlando Magic, who's thinking that the Orlando Magic are going to the NBA Finals, let alone the playoffs? But then again, also something to consider is that the Knicks were not even considered to go to the playoffs last season. So perception is perception. But the Magic moved fairly well. There was a point where the Knicks were up, and they were up by 10, and then they were up by 13. But slowly, the Magic just started to cut. The Magic just started to find the lane open. And the Magic started to find players getting more opportunities. And they really, really, really let the Knicks have it. And when the Knicks were struggling, Obi struggled a lot. Alec Burks didn't really struggle, but this is a normal Alec Burks. He'll go off for 18, and then the next game he'll go for 9, and then he'll go for maybe 12, and then 7, and then yada yada. Because what's asked of him may not be as much. He's there for help because Evan Fournier is there and Kemba's there. Kemba might need some time to get his legs under him, so that he can get to his assignments properly, at least 90% of the time. So I would look to see I would look to see by December, January, let's see what happens. D Rose picked up guys at full court. That should let you know his toughness and his tenacity. No matter what, if there's one highlight you could take, is that Derrick Rose is a baller. Derrick Rose knows how to play. Derrick Rose wants to play. He's dedicated. He's committed. And to be honest with you, the only thing that's going to stop Derrick Rose is if his ailments flare up to the point where it hurts him where he can't get on the court. So there's a phrase that people use: his best ability is availability, and it shows, and it really shows, which I think is lovely. The one thing I also wanted to take note is that Julius Randle. So I didn't see his box score. I'll take a look, but I did see his box score, but I didn't see what he shot. But there are moments where it really takes Julius Randle a little bit of time during the game to heat up, and he does get calls though. So that's why I think he's starting to become a true star player. And this may not have been just a flash in the pan, because he's getting calls. Overall, this game was okay. We did what we could, and we did the best. A loss, but we'll get them again.